this talking just because of like the presentation or like speaking and practice of my English, but sometimes I believe that it's can be useful for the people who really suffer from like certain problems which I will give you in this speech. What and I don't believe that all of the contents will be dissentent or like the giving that be gotten from the people around here. And but anyway, I want to start all of the things, but in case of the Japanese I never say the same things for to convey or translated my like a very very vague and obscure image into the like a clear word. Of course, I have the how can say three things. Firstly, what is the problem within our daily lives, within our universities and campus life? So basically, I want to say that the folk convey, like send you the messages, like which say that all people are suffer from finding the what you want to do in a daily lives or like campus life, which is definitely I believe which is definitely lead to the whole life. If you set their own values or the criteria within your mind, you can't decide it unless you get into the worker or like a whole time values, and you are constantly flowed, and then you float or follow someone's or like some social values or something. Of course, we know that on we I know that I'm also following certain values, social norms, which say that individualism is very important. You have to follow other. You don't have to follow other people, or like you have to get out from like the lifelong values, like the big companies, like a versus, or like you have to get out of the belief of the monetary powers or something like that. But at the same times, if I when I don't choose that ideas, it suddenly directly means that I follow the other ideas. But I definitely believe that it's really meaningful for all of us to consider the choice of the selection that will be take if we want to go to other to want to decide your life with yourselves. And of course I know that to feel that you are not like alternative or like a replaceable person is very very like a contented and mindful life that you can get after setting your own unique characteristics, abilities. And then if you suddenly, once you have recognized what you can do or like what are the unique characteristics within your mind, you can nurture it. You can be more unique persons after like a nurturing all the characteristics and a differentiate from the other people. Yes, so that is what I want to say in this speech and also the main points. Then, firstly, I want to analyzing the problems which I can see with around me. For some people, of course, that's the very very famous and like a very usual like spending the campus life is basically divided into two. First, it's so-called club activities. Second is like part-time jobs. Of course, then this point I have to say that most of the people share the same idea because of like that their referencing point is always like senior students and other friends who already share the same ideas, which is completely replaceable to the other people. How do you think about other people? How do you think the people around the whole of the country who go to like a part-time jobs in cafes around your nearest station, which is located in the nearest to your station, next to your station, then they got in then in the campus life they're got into like sports club activities like the doing rugby games or like baseball and basketball or something. Of course, considering because of like that color of the groups inside your university, I think that you were the only person who will be in that crowd activities and who are majoring in um that faculty, and you're the only person who can represents the color of the university, or feeling the atmosphere, or that you're the only person who lived in that moment. And then your friends is very unique to you, and you can strongly affect it around you, around your the university students. But considering that, how about how to differentiate them to the other people inside the whole nation's students within a society? How do you think about that? The number of the students in certain one generation is accumulated is 1,200,000. 1.2 millions, even in Japan, and considering the whole of the world, that's increased for 70 times or so, and considering the base, 70 times or 80 times. Of course, that is the natural things. Then you can easily find the fell into like the very identification problems. In this case, I say that considering the skills, like the how well you can play how well you can play the ball games, like you can fast taking a fast, or like working fast, and no running a fast, or like your faces or like characteristics. All of the things can be alternatively replaceable within our society, because if you look at the other people, or like the people who are very close to you, or like the close to you, you can easily find many communal things, and you can share the same characteristic with them. That's why you be and at the same times you share the same values, and not so differentiated, and not unique for to all to yourself only. In this case, I believe so much things, so many people can't differentiate themselves as using like general skills, or like how you can differentiate other people, or like how you can find your own identification. You would the same idea that if you die, you don't want to be um no one will be in suffer, like the during experience hardships. Your friends never be experienced like a lonely loneliness if you are get out of like this society, or like get out to the another countries. On this case, I believe so many people feel into the really concerned and anxious about the worry about your own, worry about your own existence, or like identification problems. That's why I believe so many people for sure want to share the same times with the other people, and excessively, extremely, un- unnecessarily. I believe that's so many people share the same times at the same time. How about the constantly like the staying up their friends' home, you never go back to their own homes, like a little bit further from the university, and you can the people whose house is located in near like a very big stations, like platform or terminal station, or like conjunction stations around you. Maybe you were going like to have the dinners, or like a playing with your friends in the like amusement parks, or like the recreational facilities. You can spend the basically this is the most important point. There is like a seamless and limitless. The more you want to spend with your friends, there is no limitation of your there is no limitation to spend that time with your friends, because of you don't need to go to anywhere, or like a part-time jobs. Of course, you can set like a 2 or 3 holidays by arranging your by arranging your schedule, by like I know arranging like schedule, like the classes or lecture in the universities, or like part-time jobs, like it's accept all that, or appointments to the other friends. I believe you definitely don't have any reason to get out of your friends, because it is comfortable. You can, if you are in that place, you can feel that very pressure present, and you feel comfortable, and you are stable, and like relieved from any pressure from the which is given from the any like out like external social welfare, social environment resource. Of course, your parents and your like your parents and your senior students, like a professor in the university, called you, and they want you to be in a very to be making an effort, to feel some stress, to be productive, to contribute to the society. But all your friends, all of your friends around you, on like um or around you and next to you, share the same goals. Of course, they are constantly told by their parents or like the surrounding a socially authorized person. But you're together. You'll be two or three, and for other like a four or ten, so many people share the same idea that they suddenly fell into group things. They can't rationally or like they generally think about your problems. All of the all of the problems or like the situation or like environment is limited within your environment, what you can see around you. On this case, I believe that so many people believe that they stopping to thinking about generally about your own lives and about your skills. You can suddenly become the replaceable persons within a society after getting to like the business world or like the qualification word. All the people are evaluated by one indicator. You can put out like result or not. Considering that your output based thinkings, you are thinking that you can definitely can't put your insufficient or adequate output within that your own project or tasks, regardless of what you want to do. And of course there is some like a suitable persons, or like you can make your own stories, but in many cases you're failing to do that because of like the generosity, or you only specified your environment. You feel like you're misunderstood. That's all the problems with around you is done by your very special environment. Some other people can't understand what you want. You're okay to share the same ideas, share same like values with your friends, with your like colleagues or the people around you. If you went to the university, you can easily find for the people who say that always the same things, who say the same things as you, and the people who share the same ideas about you. I never say that it is very like undeniable, like unacceptable things, but definitely I believe that you constantly feel that any problems within your self-image is so. Of course, you get into the um got into the companies or like legal entities or like governmental organizations. You are required to put like an output within like a certain peoples, and of course you can't find any output based persons who are really excess to what you can do. Maybe you were divided into the horrible structure of the society, feel very loneliness with you, share the same ideas, and of course some very high aware people realize that um you are the only person who can do the same things, and they choose what they want and to go into like IT companies or like to be work as a freelance. How do you think if you're like a graduation people, like to the people who share the same times in the childhood like school, like the elementary schools, or like a junior high or secondary school, those who are working are like a freelance. They don't have any of this. Be like a normal workers, and then be like very free freeing from any tasks like atmosphere within such a companies. They can get all of their monies can get by themselves without considering any competitions with your colleagues, or like they don't I think that all of them don't suffer from like very taxation because they are legal entities, not legal entity, but they private just private entities. They are constantly supposed to like only by income tax or so. I never say that's it is the best thing, but I don't care about that. But then this is a crucial point and all the things. And the 7 minutes of the like speech is very very important. But I think that the core the concentration of my gesture is not so difficult to convey a whole adjusting to what to say, because I already have what you want to say in the oh stopping. Ah, yeah, I think that's it is like only easily happen within a debate, and that's why I can't win so all scores, 75 and 77, and which is completely the difference between like our recognitions or like speaking the output because of like fast. So that's the same mechanism that all of them complain that even though we are doing the really strong output enough or sufficient output to the certain people or like to contribute to the company's results, and it can be easily happen when it comes to like the how can I say when it comes to like examinations or like the valuation processes. They believe that their skills or like abilities or the capabilities already exist that solving the problems there, but it is truly definitely have some like the gaps between your recognition or like the other people's recognition. That's why the number of differences of the analysis from your studies or like the numbers you can get on the scores is completely different to what you think. As a result of that, and even though I stopped all of the competition, added again, although they are really like upset it, they're real nervous, or like stressful in front of the like newly coming students, but they can speak out all of the matters within us, even though they are like a first speakers, even though that's like the emotion is very very easier for them, understandable. But they are constantly told that all the people and within that classrooms or so they can give them examples, and using the analysis they can come up with very very intensive images like that. That's why I think that they're using like constantly the same words, like intense environments or like the intensely for like a stressful environment, and they can't put themselves away from that word and stuff. That's why I believe that it has difficulties about that, but I never talk about that in this terms. And even though I'm really I don't know say that I find your any of them focus on the main topics of this like that speech, and what you want to do is like very very the best topics I want to say in this speech to you. This is for the next presentation I will give you. So review your parts is a very very important factors I think. And you can identify yourselves. You can find what you want to do, what you live, you can find very unique experience that you will in do. And considering, of course, when you back to your like when you back to the like elementary school or the junior high, you'll be the only one person who will go to like this high school, like this year the junior high or secondary school. Like, considering that fact, even though it is directed with your parents, even though it's like it's selected by your just very very how can I say very very the general and logical and very unemotional factors, but you feel the some things which is closely connected to atmosphere, you and the schools. And even though you are can't adjust to the schools and the atmosphere is suitable for you, you can find any other factors that you can share the same ideas, or like you feel comfortable, even though it is not so much. based on analysis, you can make your own story very, very unique to you, and you can find any other people who were in that area. You can find any other people where you were in, where you were in, like a religions, or like a towns, or like a schools, or like a community sports, and you also have like a span, like a club activities. Sometimes it is very difficult to find any reasons to get into the club activities, but after that you feel something. That's why you don't quit. That's that's groups. You don't quit that groups. You can share. You can get some friends, which is spend it into the whole month. I don't think that they are the person who you consider that the only persons you are spending into. Of course, when I choose them, I think that they have also some problems within the friends identity, friends findings. That's why they suffer from after getting to the university. They constantly point out their faults of the self-image. I also be shared times with them. They're urged by some other people to get into the put into their actions into force the other people, and then they don't want us to lose something between our relationships. But I never say that. The review your past is also I constantly say that's a very, very good way to the reflect or to find your own way to find another first experience of the future. As reviewing and looking backward to your past, if that same flow can be continued, you can easily find what your future is really looks like, or what the experience you were strongly admired or something like that. Even though that is a really, really at the red ocean, really competitive, so many competitors, the real entities, I know the entry levels, and competition is very fierce, but you can find your own ways to live yourself and survive. Because that's even though that's whole people and the faculty in itself is that decide what to think, and then faculty where to go to the like foreign abroad or stay in Japan, or like to have your own companies, or like belong to the big companies, or like a middle or east company or small companies, or you get into the Venturous. Well, you can spend your time without getting to like a legal entities. You can spend your time as a freighter or spending your time in a um cafes or comic cafes in um the private city. But I never say that's the proper way. You feel that very inferior things within your mind. You if you feel like you are ordinary person in the society, you are constantly and you are only focused on the people around you. That is not only the standardized way of death country on around the world. This is extremely the special occasions, all of them. That's why we never share